Hello and welcome. In this video lecture, I will show you a more favorable approach to implementing a 10-minute delay. Let's get started. Let's start by opening an empty sketch file. Let's define two global variables. One variable for the minutes we would like to wait for example 10 minutes, and then another variable to hold the interval of the previous recording of the milliseconds from the beginning of the execution of the program, or in other words, a simple checkpoint. When was the last time we have checked for time, so that we can take the difference between the current time in milliseconds and the previous time in milliseconds and then see if this difference is above 10 minutes. So let's begin defining a long variable, name it minutes, and then another double variable so that it holds floating points. We name it previous millis, and then inside the setup method serial.begin 9600, and then we define minutes, initialize it with the value 600,000. Let's save the file, Ctrl S. So next we initialize previous millis, or the checkpoint previous millis equal millis. Now it is initialized with the milliseconds at the beginning of the program. Now inside the loop method, let's define another double so that it holds floating points. So why are we defining it in double? We can actually define it to be as integer, to be as long, but double allows us to capture the floating points since the value for milliseconds is double precision, or with two decimal points. So it's more convenient to work with double at this point. For optimization reasons, when you've got a lot of processing going on and you want to get rid of unnecessary CPU cycles, you can use integers or longs for faster computation. We name the variable current millis and we say millis. This will hold the milliseconds at the beginning of the execution of this loop. And then we write down our if condition. If current millis minus previous millis greater than or equal to minutes, then serial.println analog read A5. So the idea is that if the time from the previous checkpoint to the current time is greater than 10 minutes, then let's read the sensor data, assuming that we have got a sensor attached to the bin A5, and we print the value that we have just read. And now let's reset our previous checkpoint, previous millis equals current millis. Now we have reset the checkpoint to be the current timestamp. Having done that, let's type down a hint here that you can perform regular tasks without halting anymore. So this is the whole point, that you are defining an if condition to trigger an action every 10 minutes without halting or freezing the main loop, and then you continue the execution of your program as usual. Let's run it, upload. Well, it seems our Arduino board is not connected. Let's go to tools, board, make sure that the board here is checked, click on that, upload again, and it says done uploading. If we open the serial monitor, it will print once. And of course we will not have to wait for 10 minutes, so you can try with smaller values and you can try to wait for 10 minutes actually to see that it's working as expected. Let's close that one and think twice about the steps we have done. So we have defined two global variables, minutes and previous millis. That's a checkpoint and this is the period we'd like to wait. And then we have initialized the serial monitor. We've defined minutes to be 10 minutes. We've defined the previous millis, or the checkpoint, to hold the current timestamp in milliseconds. Inside the loop, we have got the new time in milliseconds, and then we have run an if condition. If the current millis negative or subtract previous millis is greater than or equal to the minutes we'd like to wait, then perform the reading of the sensor. So I would like you to play around with the types of the variables. So instead of double, try float. Instead of double and float, try integer, try long. And also for the type of minutes, try to play around with integer, floats, with doubles, and see what difference it makes. Another exercise I would like you to experiment with, instead of if current minus previous millis and so on, I would like you to try it this way. If current millis negative previous millis, if current millis modulus minutes equal 0. So what happens if you try this formula? you can come up with different formulas and experiment with. I would like you to see what happens when you try this formula, play around with it, and share the results together on the forum associated with the course. And let me know if you've got any more trouble and share your insights with me as well. Thank you, and see you in the next video lecture.